Please be seated. Good morning. Good morning. God, I ask that you give me the words that you will have your people to hear. Equip me to do your will and not my own. Bless me that I may be a blessing to those under the sound of my voice. Amen. John Deere, a Jesuit priest, offers that the life of peace is both an inner journey toward a disarmed heart and a public journey toward a disarmed world. This difficult and beautiful journey gives infinite meaning and fulfillment to life itself, because our lives becomes a gift for the whole human race. He says, with peace as the beginning, middle, and end of life, life itself makes sense. What does an agent of peace look like? Where do agents of peace reside? And are you an agent of peace? I want to start with a very short story. Now, this is a story about 4 people, and you may have heard this. Their names are everybody, somebody, nobody, and anybody. Now, there was an important job to be done, and everybody was asked to do it. Now, everybody was sure somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Well, somebody got angry because it was everybody's job. Yet everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. Now, it ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done in the first place. God's peace. Whose job is it? For the few minutes that I'm up here, I'm going to invite you to pull down your mental screen and to travel this very short yet intimate journey with me. Are you ready? Hear my voice. Feel my heart. Take my hand and walk with me. I want to share another story about a teenager named Lewis Brown. Lewis was an avid reader and a total bookworm. He was caring and compassionate. And at 15, he was committed to making his community a more peaceful and just place. Lewis believed that all young people had the potential to be peacemakers, regardless of what side of the streets they come from. His message to his peer were, work smart, not hard, do the best you can, and not what others expect to see. Lewis was also very concerned about the violence that was happening in his community. And yet he couldn't understand why adults were always blaming young people and looking to young people for answer. Lewis believed that if things didn't happen, that if things didn't change, his friends would either be addicted to drugs, in jail, or dead. His long-term goal was to become the first African-American president of the United States. Lewis was killed in a crossfire of a shootout December of 1993. Lewis was my oldest son, and he was an agent of peace. After we laid Lewis to rest for years, I mentally replayed the murder of my son and restored the pain and anger that was inside of me on that cold December afternoon. I constantly battled with anger, sadness, fear, bitterness, and resentment. I tried to understand why. And then I realized there are really no answers as to why. And in my flesh, I will never understand why. So I stopped asking why. And after struggling with God and with the love, gentleness, impetus and guidance of my priest, the late Father Vincent Von Yu, I shifted my thinking. Instead, I cried out to God from the depth of my soul. I surrender, Lord. I am weak, Lord. I need you, God. I cannot do this alone. Help me to do your will here on earth. Now I've learned that when I ask God to help me, God tells me what to do. So he equipped me with 7 principles of peace. This is how you will teach my peace, he says. Love, unity, faith, hope, courage, justice, and forgiveness. I pray, I plan my time with God, and I practice these 7 principles daily. I seek God in everything I say I do. I receive these principles of peace, and then I give myself permission to experience God's peace. It is because of the murder of my son and the love of my living children, Alexandra and Alan, I knew that Lewis's life could not end on the streets that day. That as a child of God, Lewis was worth more. The lives of black and brown children really do matter because they too are God's children. Now, please know that staying focused on God's will is not an easy journey. I am guided by the scriptures with gentleness, patience, and care. And this pathway has helped me to cry out to God for ways to redirect my pain so that I may embrace his peace. To turn my anger that's inside of me into active action. Lord, have mercy on my soul. I constantly struggle in understanding this God thing, this peace thing inside of me. Yet, at the same time, I would focus on the strength of the principles and how God is guiding me each and every day. It is a conscious choice that I must make every day. I memorize verses that would guide me and then practice them daily. As an agent of God's peace, I just want to give you a few examples on some of these principles. Love. 1 Corinthians says that all that you do be done in love. Everything I do is done in love. Love for my God, for my children, for my community. In unity, Ephesians 4:3 says, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Eager to maintain. Peace in the beginning, peace in the middle, peace in the end. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. John 14:27 says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I it to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. I am no longer afraid. With a solid foundation that stands firmly on God's peace and focusing on these principles, the recollection of the murder of my son seemed to hold less prominence in my thoughts. Where are the agents of peace? And what is the role of the church in nurturing the agents of peace? I want to let you know that the needs and struggles of families impacted by murder, trauma, grief, and loss are great. And it is of greater needs that the faith community hear the voice, hold the hands, feel the heart, and walk with those who are suffering. Yet in order to do this, we must reach beyond ourselves to accomplish this great task of creating central space where healing and reconciliation can begin. Guiding families to walk through the valley of the shadow of death rather than get over it. It's been a year. It's in line with Matthew 5:4. God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Families will begin to experience healing and reconciliation and will then be able to find peace and show God's mercy. Therefore, the church, birthing agents of peace. Mother Teresa reflects on working towards peace. She says, the fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. The fruit of service is peace. As I continue on my journey, are you still with me? Are you still holding my hand? Are you hearing my voice? Yes. Are you feeling my heart? The God of mercy calls for the following in Micah 6:8. He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. He has shown you and me what is good, and he also has given us the answer as to what he requires. Act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. God's will be done, not mine. Every day before I leave my house, I pray, merciful Lord, thank you for blessing me today, and may I be a blessing to those you send my way. Doris was a mother just like me who tried her best to raise her son Charles. Charles was the young man convicted of killing my son. I needed to know who could raise a child that could take another human being life. When I met Doris in 2000, there were silent tears and a warm embrace. Mother to mother, woman to woman, heart to heart. It is then that I saw her pain and I felt her shame. I realized that we were both impacted on what happened on that cold December afternoon. I offered Doris my hand and my heart for forgiveness, and she accepted. Be strong and of good courage. Do not fear nor be afraid of them, for the Lord your God, he is the one that goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. Equipped with the peace of God, I made a decision that I wanted to meet face to face with Charles, a young man convicted of killing Lewis. Why, you might ask? That's another sermon. I know that extending my hand and my heart for forgiveness has given Mr. Bowles a sense of inner peace, where healing can begin, and in turn has saved him, his family, his friends, and our community. God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Mr. Bowles is an agent of peace. To honor Lewis's legacy, to continue the work that he started at age 15, I founded the Peace Institute. Our mission is to serve as a center of healing, teaching, and learning for families and communities impacted by murder, trauma, grief, and loss. Our vision is to create and sustain an environment where people are valued and families can live in peace. Our goals are threefold: services, advocacy, and training. And our work is guided by 7 core principles of peace: love, unity, faith, hope, courage, justice, and forgiveness. Our desire to live in peace must be matched by our commitment to end institutional racism. Together, I believe we can transform society's response to homicide so all families are treated with dignity and compassion, regardless of the circumstances. Now, can you imagine what could happen when people of diverse faith and belief unite to promote God's peace, to be proactive rather than reactive? As agents of God's peace, nurturing the beloved community for the next generation will require us to shift some of the resources from police prosecution, and prison, and invest equitably in prevention, possibilities, and peace. Our students need social, emotional learning in school. Our family needs more equitable access to quality physical and mental health treatment. And our community needs healing, housing, and opportunities that is sustainable. A helping hand, not a handout. I'm wrapping up my journey with you. Dr. King reminds that peace is not simply about the absence of violence. It is also the presence of what we need to live in peace. He continues, violence is impractical because it is a descending spiral, ending in destruction for all. It is immoral because it seeks to humiliate the opponent rather than win his understanding. It seeks to annihilate rather than convert. Violence is immoral because it thrives on hatred rather than love. It destroys community and makes brotherhood impossible. It leaves society in monologue rather than dialogue. Violence ends up defeating itself. It creates bitterness in the survivor and brutality in the destroyer. As agents of God's peace, I must ask 3 things of you. 1, commit to doing the inner work needed to heal. We all need to heal. It's not just about violence. It is about whatever pain we are dealing with. Acknowledge and heal, and build skills to challenge racism. Put your faith on your feet, lace up your shoes, and help us reach our goal of $400,000 to expand the Peace Institute's services, training, and advocacy work. We are blessed by all who have been beside us for many years. 3, this might be the hardest, yet I'm called to ask. When you hear about a murder in the city of Boston, or in any urban community that you are from, open your heart and think not just about the death. And do not let the reason for why they were killed to be dismissive. Rather, think about their life. Think about the other side. The person that pulled the trigger. The person that committed the act. Think about their families. For the sake of the next generation. Ask, as people of faith, what else can we do? How else can we support? 24 years later, the fact that we have young people taking a stand in the March for Our Life, they should not be doing that. It means that we, as adults, have failed them in some way. Yet, it is an honor and a privilege to watch them work, and they do have the commitment of the Peace Institute. Peace is love, peace is unity, peace is faith, peace is hope, peace is courage, peace is justice, and yes, peace is forgiveness. I declare this day, this moment, right now, right here, you are all called to be agents of peace. May you seek, may you receive, and may you experience God's gift. May the peace of God guide your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit, and your